Coromon is a monster catching and battling RPG where you go off and explore the world while simultaneously saving it from imminent doom. Today I will be analyzing the degree of similarity between Coromon and Pokemon. I'll start off by going through similarities Coromon share with Pokemon, and then move on to their differences and reach a final verdict. In terms of similarities, I'll admit there are many. The first is the main focal point of the game, which is catching monsters, and raising them and training them, giving them experience, and teaching them stronger moves and evolving. The actual process of catching a Coromon involves weakening its health with attacks, and then throwing a spinner at it. The success rate of this depends on the health of the Coromon, the type of the spinner you use, and if they are afflicted by a status. The statuses in the game are very similar to that of Pokemon and include sleep, poison, burn, paralysis, and freeze. The only difference is Coromon has a hazy status, while Pokemon has a confusion status. The party system. The party system, just like Pokemon, has 6 Coromon. Any extra Coromon caught in the wild are transported to your health hub and can be accessed by the computer and switched out. The health hub heals your Coromon exactly like a Poke Center would. There's no cost or charge. The moves. Each Coromon has 4 moves, and they are used in a turn-based battle system where speed determines who goes first, unless you use a move that is a priority move, like in Pokemon Quick Attack, in which case it will go first. Held items. Coromon can also hold items that affect the battle, and one of the most commonly held items are single-use berries. These are used to restore health or resolve status issues. These berries are grown from trees, similar to how they are grown from bushes in Pokemon, and they regenerate over time. Fainting. Finally, fainting is very similar to that in Pokemon. When your Coromon all reach 0 health, you return to their last health hub with some gold penalty loss. Now for the differences. The very first difference and the most important difference in my mind is difficulty. This is huge. One of the biggest complaints about the direction of the Pokemon games and where they've been going the past 10 years or so is this continual hand-holding method that has penetrated deep inside the games. It used to begin when you'd start out with a small tutorial and then you were off on your own, but now the tutorial extends through multiple towns with unskippable dialogue, and this is paired with forced EXP share or constant NPCs that are in every difficult area that will heal you completely. The gym leaders are under-leveled and the AI is very simple to defeat. This is not the case with Coromon. I fainted a good bit from either underestimating the wild Coromon or the trainers or the bosses, and on quite a few occasions I actually had to stop and grind a little bit in order to advance the story. I've not had to do this in Pokemon for the past, probably 6-7 generations. You also have the option very early on in the game to select your difficulty, and even though I kept mine on normal, it still felt appropriately challenging. The dungeons. I'm calling them dungeons, but really they're just distinct areas in the game where you run into a new climate of Coromon and a new set of trainers dispersed without, and normally at the end there's some sort of boss. These include swamps, deserts, mines, towers, and although Pokemon could arguably have these areas, and they do have these areas, they are nowhere near as large or fleshed out or challenging as they are in Coromon. A huge quality of life update that Coromon has over Pokemon in this regard is whenever you go through a big dungeon, let's say a tower with 7 floors, and you need to go out to heal, you can back out, go to the first floor, heal, and then go directly back to the 7th floor. You don't have to traverse all the way through the whole dungeon again. Potential. Pokemon have a stat system in place called IVs, or individual values, and that is determined upon catching a Pokemon and ranges from 1 to 31 in each stat. Coromon have a similar system called Potential that ranges from 1 to 21. It's an overall aggregate of their scores, and when a certain threshold of potential is met, the Coromon will appear as potent or even perfect, and graphically they appear with a different skin. Many see this as a shiny clone concept from Pokemon, but Coromon takes it one step further. Graphically they do look distinctly different because their color is different, but it's symbolizing an increased strength and potential, and it will lead to a distinctly stronger version of their standard counterparts. Also in terms of rarity, catching or running into a perfect Coromon sits at an encounter rate of about 0.03%. Pokemon's base shiny rate is about 0.0 0.01%, so about 3 times rarer, but that's without a shiny charm. Encountering a potent Coromon is about 3%, or 100 times more likely than a perfect one, which makes it much more inclusive for players to catch and to look for, while leaving the ultra rare finds, the perfect ones, for those that really want a challenge. I personally have caught about 20 potent Coromon, but I have not caught a perfect one yet. Typing and move selection. There are 13 different types in Coromon, and each Coromon can only be one type, unlike in Pokemon where you can have mixed types and there's much more than 13. In fact, in Coromon there are only 7 types that a Coromon can be. The other 6 types are exclusive to moves. Another huge quality of life over Pokemon is that you're able to switch your moves between battles. You don't have to go to Move Deleter or a trainer to do this. Interfacing with the world. This is a double-edged sword in some sense, because there are times that I felt while playing the game that the developers got a bit carried away with trivial puzzles, but overall there's a golden sun feel when interacting with the world in regards to pushing objects or surfing or catching things on fire that allows a greater level of interaction. Pokemon also has some of this with Strength and Surf and Rock Smash, but Coromon takes it one step further. Final verdict. So is Coromon just a Pokemon clone? I'd argue no. I would not consider Coromon just to be a Pokemon clone. Unfortunately, any game that is based on catching and battling monsters will most likely struggle in the shadow that Pokemon has cast. But Coromon has enough unique aspects that it deserves to stand on its own. As always, thanks for watching, and feel free to check out my other videos if you're interested.